told her I'm a virgin. She said, "Hello, lady, let me teach you everything." I told her I'm a Virgo. She said, "Me too, honey, see you're the one for me." Told her I'm a virgin. She said, "Hello, lady, let me teach you everything." I told her I'm a Virgo.
Yes, we are live and we are here again. It's season 2, y'all, for the Be Fit for Business podcast. I'm super excited about this guest that we have tonight. Hey, we have Miss L from Outstanding Operations in the building.
That's me.
Listen, so first off, I love to tell my listeners about like a story on how we met.
Okay.
I was privileged to meet the lovely Africa,
Yes.
who is so kind and who is so sweet. Shout out to Africa.
Shout out to Africa.
I met her through Zeb. She did an amazing show with Zeb on her podcast.
Right.
Shout out to the Exchange podcast. So I loved her, and it was so dope that she connected us.
Yes.
And what I loved about what she told me, even prior to meeting you, she was like, "You know what, Amber? I think you guys definitely have to meet. You guys have the same passion for, so you guys are gonna learn more, but we have like the same passion when it comes to small businesses." So let's just get like right into it.
Let's go.
Outstanding Operations. Tell us, what is it about Outstanding Operations? Tell us how you got started.
Okay. So, Outstanding Operations is my small business. I'm an entrepreneur.
Okay.
I've had more than one, but I have to say this is the one that I'm definitely more committed to because I'm building off of skills I already have.
You go, girl.
There were other things that I like to do that I have a passion for, etc., but it was just a little more difficult because I was trying to do something different, getting away from what I have 20 years of experience in. So because I have 20 years in corporate America as an operations manager, assistant operations manager, executive assistant, legal secretary, all of those things, I have built a serious war chest of skills. So right now, let's say virtual assistants are booming. Obviously, virtual, everyone's home.
I had one.
And there are people, the businesses are shooting up left, right, and center, as you can see. And what I realize is people feel like, well, I know how to answer a phone. I know how to answer an email. I can be a virtual assistant. Not really.
Not quite, right.
Not exactly. I mean, there are some similarities for sure, but my business is twofold because for me, being an executive assistant for over 20 years in several different industries, I've picked up things that I can add to my toolkit to help small businesses. What I learned in corporate America is lots of those people, college is absolutely guaranteed. Business school sometimes after. Maybe even you have the money for a master's degree.
Wow,
With people that look like us, we don't always have all those opportunities.
Yeah.
So we'll just be like, hey, you know what? I know how to do this. I know how to do this. I'm going to start a business. But you may not know the building blocks or how to set your foundation up so that one, it's not just a side hustle, right? You want to register. You want to be legit. You do not want the alphabet boys coming after you because you thought you were going to cut some corners.
For sure.
So I give people a strategy if you're in the ideation stage. So speaking of Africa, I had a conversation with Africa, and she's like, I know I want to do something for myself, and I know how to kind of dig and get those questions in and get the information out. And she was like, you know what? In 10 minutes, like we've literally figured it out, and I've been thinking about this for years, just from the questions.
So let me ask you, would you coin yourself like a business strategist?
To some degree, but it's really about setting up the logistics. Some people don't know, you know what, you need to look for your business name first. They don't know how to register that business. What's an EIN number, that kind of thing. So some people need all of that. Some people just need an accountability coach. Like, hey, this paperwork needs to be in by this date. Did you get it done? A little gentle nudge. Some people only need a virtual assistant because their emails are swamped. They're missing marketing opportunities. Or what I find a lot, and I kind of help people with the social media aspect, is they start a page and just wing it. No engagement. They wing it. They're not really sure. So what I started doing with my page, which is pretty recent, my page has only been up a month. I've got 100 followers. I've got 100 followers because of what I've been able to do, what I learned in the digital industry, et cetera. And being in these industries, right, across the board, finance, banking, legal, digital, tech startups, et cetera, that makes you a subject matter expert when you're 10, 20 years in.
Yeah.
I can do it with my eyes closed.
I love that.
So why am I not capitalizing on what I learned?
Okay.
Okay.
Because that's really what it's about.
That's really what it's about.
And what I love, something that you said is that because you have the experience, I'm actually from a corporate background myself. You do actually apply those things to your small businesses because honestly, guys, all businesses start small. Like, you get what I'm saying?
definitely
Nobody goes into business as a major corporation.
don't.
It starts from something small, and once you implement,
Yes.
like, core things, like core values, like, and I'm sure people who may have worked for like Apple or different, like different strategies that they use within the company, by taking some of those elements, not you're stealing from them, but just taking like some of those elements to see things that work for strong businesses and applying them to your own business is absolutely amazing. Like, because I'll be honest, like, even when it comes to my business, shout out to Be Fit and Focus, your local juice company.
Be Fit and Focus, have some juice.
Yeah, so, like, even with Be Fit and Focus, there are things that I've learned. Like, I've went to other places, like, when it comes to juices, and I'm kind of like, I like the way they do this. Not so much the flavor, but, like, how they promote this or how they do this. So I think that's a good idea for me to do it obviously in my own way, but to establish that level of connection, to see how like it's marketed and things like that. Like, that's excellent, because honestly, that's the only way that you learn. You have to see some type of success in order to know that it works, and it may or may not work for you, but you at least have to try it.
And you also have to try different things. And I consider myself a bridge to some degree, right, between the corporate structure, which is very streamlined, and you've got your blinders on, you're just going for the goal, it's super rigid, and that's why most people leave, honestly, right?
No,
that's why most people leave.
I'm not a rule follower like that. I am, but
I don't want to be. When it's related to my paper, then I will follow those rules.
Yes.
But I don't want to be, right? So I'm much more comfortable being comfortable. I'm much more comfortable being myself. I don't want to code switch. I don't want to blend in. None of that. So, but there are certain things that absolutely work that corporate America does. And what I found is the person who's an entrepreneur, even a creative entrepreneur, a dancer, an actor, a singer, the person who develops apps, etc. Whatever your business is, if you're doing it for yourself, there's very often a part of you that's like, I'm not doing anything like corporate America. However, that's a disservice.
Yes.
Right? That's a disservice, because there are some things that work. When you are the actual money maker, so I'll give you an example. For the corporations that I've worked with at the level that I've gotten to, I'm supporting the U.S. head of, some corporation. So all the U.S. offices are under that person. It's different time zones. It's different whatever. Clearly, I have to manage all those calendars, right? So if you got 3 people in New York City, I got you. Like, I'm not worried about that at all, right? But they get bogged down in how the steps it would take to manage that phone call. Right? Or to schedule with 4 or 5 people, when they really just want to focus on what it is they do. Make the money, bring the profit, drive the profit.
And your dream, we always say this, Deb and I from the Exchange podcast, because your dream is only as big as your team, right? Because you really cannot do every single thing by yourself. You have to allocate and delegate in order to outsource in order to be successful. I remember myself, like, when my juice business picked up significantly during the pandemic, and that there was a point I'm doing like 200, 300, 400, 500 juices a week, right? And on top of that, I remember one day I had a whole meltdown, because after working all of those hours, making all of those juices, I'm getting in a car to bring it to people, and I'm like, Amber, you cannot. I remember I had a complete meltdown, and I sat down. I said, no, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna pay drivers to do this. Like, how much is it gonna? You're gonna put that cost onto your customers. You have to build it in, but you're gonna establish something where now you have drivers that are bringing these things to you, because spending a little bit of money can save you a whole lot of headache. If I just
Absolutely.
spend this little bit of money, it can save me from having no disrespect. It can save me a trip to a therapist or no, seriously, or to like a
You
hospital
black it out while you're
because
driving.
like
Right.
or high blood pressure, all of these different
It's not
things.
worth
Like
it.
the stress is not worth
It's
it.
not.
You can't keep all the money. You
can't.
have to absolutely, and I teach this even to people that I mentor in business. Like you have to delegate. You have
You
to
do.
give this to someone else.
Definitely
I remember
delegate.
this young lady who had an amazing business and it was thriving. It was doing like really good. She was all over like major blogs like Shade Room and Hollywood Unlocked, a few dope places, and she was the only person making her shirts. I said, there's no way. You have to hire. You got to be able to teach someone the skill.
Right.
Don't worry about who you think is going to steal it from. They really can't. They're not you.
really
You
can't.
get what I'm saying? Like, and you can put things into place that they can't do that.
Now that you mention that, right? Have NDAs.
NDAs, that's a
literally
real thing. That is a real thing.
So that you can give someone, you can teach them the mechanism, but not the magic behind
yes.
what you make or what you do. People feel like their business is their baby. I get it.
Yes.
It's like nobody can do it the way I can do it. Great. Anybody can answer an email though. And if I buy you 4-5 hours in time,
That's
or
a lot of
5 hours in
time.
time.
That's a lot of
what
time.
else would you do with your time? Make more money. Pick up your kids. Do something without your kids. Whatever it is, you know what I mean? Date night, whatever it is. I try to focus on automation, delegation to some degree, and creating systems and processes that can just work and flow. So
Dope.
that you don't have to do the mundane, because a lot of times it is mundane. Because I've been doing it for so long, I can do it with my eyes closed. So why aren't I teaching other people so they
Absolutely.
can push forward? Do I have to absolutely do it? No, I don't have to. But I can teach you the systems. I'll sit with you for 2 weeks, 3 weeks while we literally work
Yes.
it through.
Yes.
And then you're good.
That
Then
leads me
fly,
to my.
baby.
I know. I love that. I love that. You about to come up and be fan focused. I hope that's no.
I got you.
Listen. So that was going to be my next question.
Yes.
So tell us how, because we have a lot of listeners. A lot of our listeners come from all different backgrounds. Shout out to our listeners who are so amazing. With working with so many entrepreneurs like over the past few years and mentoring myself. We have a lot of different listeners, from entrepreneurs, consumers, people who you're really not sure where you want to get started.
Right.
So I love what it is that you're doing, because you're pretty much helping people start their babies, but implement great things from the beginning. How can so if they're interested in the services that you provide, tell us how that goes. And what I mean by that is like, what's the approach? Like, if hey, Elle, I want to come to Outstanding Operations and I want to start my business. What's your process like for someone to do that?
So the first thing is we'd have an intro call, right? You can find me on Instagram, Outstanding Operations, website, name the same.
And guys, make sure that you pay attention to our screens, where you will see Elle's information at the bottom, where you can contact her via social media and via email so that you can get started with these services.
Great, thanks. So I schedule a free intro call, 15 minutes. That's all it takes me.
Okay.
Right? We'll have a conversation. It's basically a GPS, right? I'll be your roadmap. So I'll ask the questions. I'll draw it out of you. I'll ask the questions that I know I need to get you to the next level. In that initial conversation, I can tell if you're a procrastinator. I can tell if you're really like, you know what, I'm just going to pay someone to do it, right? And all those things are fine. All those things are fine. And then in that way, I can develop a custom approach, because no business is the same. Nobody works the same. This business is really about personality. Ultimately, it's consulting, right? And I have to listen to what the entrepreneur is telling me. I have to find out what their goals are, what they plan to do, real life milestones that they can make, right? If you're just starting your business in December, don't tell me in June that you plan to make $2 million. No. That's not how that works. That's not how that works.
That's not how it
I'm
works.
a little bit of a realist.
Yeah. And you help them to set like intentional, realistic
smart goals, right?
Yeah,
And
that's dope.
That's for someone who's new to a business, right?
Oh, so that's great. So you have okay,
There's
guys.
levels
She's
to
letting
it.
y'all
There's
know that
levels
it's
to it.
levels to
There's
this.
levels
She's not
to
new
it.
to this. She's true to this.
There's levels to it.
I love
Walk
that.
with me. Walk with me.
So on a beginner level, so that's
Right,
amazing.
that's the
So on a
beginner
beginner level, okay.
So for yourself, right, you're an established business, you have more than one thing going on. For you, if you're overwhelmed, there's a lot happening, you have 4 or 5 emails, we're going to work on streamlining for someone like you, right? What I'll do is a diagnostic for you. What systems you have in place right now, what can you let go of comfortably, what you think you want to add to your repertoire, because you're going to get some more time. And with that time, you need to use it effectively to push your business.
Absolutely.
So we can do other things to figure out where you want to move next, right? You set your actionable items, your goals, etc. The other thing is, for lots of people, beginning, intermediate, advanced business, lots of people are not using social media correctly. Lots of people are not using social media correctly.
Well, we know that because right now, like especially like there's a lot of stuff like with creatives, and they're like, listen, like you got to post certain things, you got to hashtag certain things, you got to this, you got to that, so you have to bring in your crowd.
There is a formula, but what people should do, and this phrase might be new to quite a few people, but you should be developing buyer personas, right? Which what that means is you feel like you know who your audience is, obviously, and that's who you're speaking to.
Absolutely.
when you post, when you develop your podcast, etc. You know your audience. There's a sister buyer persona to some degree that kind of shadows, but there may be 1 or 2 things different that your posts don't reach, but you could, by 10%, 15%, 20%, meet new people. If your bottom line equals 10%, 15% over a few months' time, that
starts
money.
adding up.
That sounds like money.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So if you take the time to assess, what if you have 1,000 followers, but 300 of them are dead? What's the point in that? There's no point. So you could find a different audience. You can find a way maybe to engage with them and bring them back. But if you're not doing your data analytics, if you're not looking at the insights, you don't know where you're weak, where you're strong. You have a content planner. I know for me personally, it bothers me to sit down at one time and plan for the month.
I'm not that girl.
that doesn't work for me. Right?
I don't even know what I'm going to eat tonight. Right?
Exactly. That doesn't work for me. But for some people, it does. So here you go. Here's your graphic content planner, right? And I have lots of PDFs. I have sellable actual documents, because for some people, the paperwork, the actual administrative part of it is enough for them to be like, no. Right? But I've got a lean business.
They are me.
Okay? I am them, sis. I am them. So I sell documents that, listen, you can brand it. I can brand it for you. It's a lean business plan. There's a detailed business plan. Depending on what you're doing, I have a library. If I've literally sat at a computer for 20 years, when I create something, that's my intellectual property. It leaves with me when I leave the job.
Love that.
And I've literally just added and added and added.
Standard SOPs, right?
I write those.
Standard operating procedures. That was always a big thing for me in corporate, and I love those.
Yeah,
like you definitely need your mission statements. You need, because those are things that are going to help you follow through what it is that you've set up and you are like you have designed.
And they have more than one purpose, right? Because say Amber's on vacation, right? And you've got the manager running one of your shops or running the business for a little while. You know what? Oh, I don't know how to do this. Do I want to call and email Amber while she's on vacation? Nope. Page 7 says, got it.
Yes.
That's your process,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
I used to set up, I got burned one time. Well, more than once in corporate America, because that happens.
Yes.
But you figure it out. You cover your ass. You figure it out, and the same thing doesn't happen again, hopefully. Because in corporate America, you can't take it to the streets. Right? I'm from Brooklyn.
And that's
I'm from Brooklyn. You can't take it to the streets all the time.
You're hilarious.
So I started to develop my book of partners. I was developing. I was supporting partners, highest level in a firm, right? Senior partners, et cetera. And we had a team of executive assistants. So when somebody's out, they cover teamwork kind of situation, or that's what it's supposed to be. So I'm out one day, and when I say I explicitly gave all the directions, I explicitly gave all the directions. She still managed to muck it up. But okay. Ultimately, that's my responsibility because those partners are my partners.
Yes.
Got it. I'm a whole lot. So what I started to do was write down every step I took all day, every day. Then, you do that for a week, you do that for 2 weeks, you realize, oh, you know what? Let me add this. Oh, let me add this. And before you know it, you've got literally a binder on your person or whatever.
Definitely.
Your partners, your CEOs, whoever it is. So, hey, you know what? This is what he likes to eat. This is his car service. This is whatever. And it doesn't matter if I'm out. You're not stressed like, are they taking care of my partners? Am I going to have to hear it when I get back, etc. So,
and everyone learns different. We always have to take that into account.
They definitely do. So I just started doing it everywhere I went.
Dope.
I go to another job, all right, guess what? I would be surprised if the EA that I was working with or replacing didn't happen. All right, you do you. I'm going to do me. And I would just develop my processes and write them down. I like to work smarter.
Yeah, not harder. Yeah,
Seriously.
definitely.
I'm an efficiency, like Nazi.
Yeah.
Right? Like if it's I can't even get it out. Like I'm so angry about it, right? If I am doing double time, or I have to explain for a third time, I'm gonna start talking through my teeth.
Yeah.
Because am I speaking English?
Yeah.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? So I'll just write it down. Here you go. Just read it. Or I put it in an email. I cut and paste. I keep all those things.
Yeah.
And I realize that those are things that actually help people because some people are not open to asking questions more than once.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's fine, right? Like,
and they rather kind of like almost sabotage sometimes
right. And
rather
that's
than get it right.
You don't want to do that. You just also have to know the personality that you're working with. But depending on the level, right, of person you're dealing with, you have to meet people where they are.
Absolutely.
And some people, they're going to listen, they're going to hear, they want to pay close attention. They're not going to take notes. I got you. I hit you with the notes. Right? And I can pick up these things because I've been around people and reading people and learning these personalities for so long. I'm going to give you the minutes after the meeting. I'm going to give you the action items. Because guess what? Don't ask me in 3 days what we discussed in that meeting. So that's more of like a selfish kind of reason, but it really helps you and you don't have to worry about it.
And too, like, again, like you said, like if you're writing every single thing down, like you said, like it's funny, I take notes, but I don't review notes.
Okay.
So when I write things, I'm writing it down. That's my confirmation.
Committing it. Right.
Yes. Instead of like, more than likely, I may go back to something like that I said, but more than likely the reiteration happens as I'm writing it down. Yes.
Right,
so I get that. Everybody is very different, but then you have other people who are like, no, I have to write every single thing down. I cannot forget. I have to go back. I have to study and stuff like that. So that's great.
And that works for them. I'm a checklist person. I'll use the phone. I'll use the computer. I have my planner in my bag. I write things down.
That's
old
awesome.
School. I write it down.
Shout out to my friend Dia. She's the same way.
Yeah, I write things down.
She's like
I
you
used to remember the Filofax.
Yes.
Oh, I loved that thing.
Oh my God.
If it would not bring down my cool quotient, I would have one right now. I loved it. You had a space to write everything, the days, etc. So I love a planner, and I will have receipts for whatever we discussed. I live my life.
Not the receipts.
The receipts. I live my life.
Screenshots.
I said what I said. I live my life because I've had training for so long in so many legal departments and being a legal secretary. I live my life as if I could end up in court.
Okay, yeah,
and
that's
this
smart,
way,
though,
there's always
protection.
Proof.
Though,
there's always proof. There's always
protection.
Oh yeah, I did miss that. If you miss it, you got to own it. You know what? I see it right here, but I didn't do it. My bad. It won't happen again. That's the best you can do.
And let me ask you, like, so I know your business is fairly new, right?
Yes.
That you started this, like, about how many businesses have you worked with so far? Or are you just getting started?
So I'm definitely just getting started. Adding the virtual assistant piece and the downloadable PDFs is more new. I started last summer. I was working with a former coworker. He started a foundation. And I believe I was temping at the time. We kept in touch. And he was like, hey, I need some help. I'm starting this foundation. I need some help getting it set up. I know you can do it. The answer was yes immediately. Like, I love him as a person. I love the foundation, what he was doing, all of that. We just really definitely gelled professionally. And I started working with him, and I was getting paid monthly. I hadn't hit him with the crazy rates. He was like, "You've helped us so much." I started his internship program. I got him connected to people in the community.
Great.
I networked for him, with him, set up every intern, every mentor for an entire summer program.
That's
a lot of
amazing.
logistics.
Yeah.
That's project management. That's chasing. That's emailing. That's responding. I was like, I can do this for other people.
Okay.
What am I doing?
Listen,
I can do this for
and
other
I
people.
love that, and I always say this to businesses: when you're doing something, number one, that you're very informed on,
Yes.
something that you're passionate about. Your passion truly shows in what it is that you do. You're very intelligent, as I'm hearing you speak, and you have like the knowledge and the passion. Whenever you have those elements, you're going to absolutely be successful. Again, listeners, if you are looking to get your business off on the right foot and you need some standard operating procedures, you need those virtual assistants, you need things that are set in place, Elle is your girl. Outstanding Operations. Elle, so let us know, let the listeners know again. Obviously, guys, like I said, make sure that you follow the screens, but let the listeners know like how they can find you, how they can interact with you if they're interested in getting started in your services.
Okay. So I would suggest that everyone go to the website because I have a bio there. So you'll see the background, you'll see the list of services. There's strategic planning, there's the digital side, there's the virtual assistant stuff. So you'll get a mix of what I offer. I can't literally list every single thing that I do. So those are just broad strokes.
And that'll be done in your 15 minutes consultation.
Right. So the website is www.outstandingoperations.com. And let me explain why it's outstanding operations, right? Most people know the term business administration, right? So it's how you run your business. Two successful things is you need a powerful front office, you need a powerful back office. I'm the back office. I'm going to help you with your accounting. I'm not an accountant, but I'll get you what you need.
Yes.
Sometimes you
Point
can
you in the right
automate
direction.
or you hire someone, right? I'm not the marketing genius, but I can give you a plan to get you started and then suggest, hey, you know what? You need to move forward because you have a little while before you start spending on marketing. But the other thing is that I can give you a framework so that the things that seem insurmountable to you, you can literally discuss, break down bit by bit by bit, and there's no need to rush.
Awesome.
When you rush, you're going to fall down, you might quit, you might whatever. But if it's better to start at the beginning or knowing that you've been doing something you've been doing it for a while and you know what, this isn't working for me anymore, I need to reassess. So that's really what I offer, the reassessing, the looking at your systems, how I can save you time, because if I save you time, I save you money. If I save you money, you make more money.
Absolutely.
People don't equate efficiency and productivity
Time is money,
to
man.
those dollars. And that's really what you want to do.
Absolutely. Time is definitely money. Anytime that, like you said something that was very important. If you can free up time for someone to work on their creative space, I've had to do that. I've had to delegate certain things, even with the podcast in different areas, because they're not my strong suits, but they're my coworker strong suits or my or my my friend's strong suits. So you delegate, and yes, exactly. We help each other in different type of ways. So I love that that you said that.
Yeah, people can also visit my IG page. It's at Outstanding Operations. My link tree is there. I'm actually going to change it. I found something new, which I will be offering to my clients.
Aw, snap.
I'll tell you as soon as we're off air.
Okay.
It looks way better.
Okay.
It looks cleaner.
Okay.
And there's a lot more that you can add to it. So I can actually teach a class on that.
Dope. Love that.
So there's just more things that I'm realizing that I can market that I haven't. So what I can do is when I'm speaking to new businesses is, look, this one bucket, you're at this level. This is what I can offer at this level. Things can be ad hoc. I can take things out. That's why I rather it be custom and it's really a personal experience. I don't have a one-stop shop because everyone's different.
Yes, absolutely.
Everyone's different and they
needs.
need different things.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. It was so great having you, Al.
you.
I love
Thank you.
again. I love everything that you talked about. I think that's extremely important, especially because one thing that we've even talked about off air is that especially like with small businesses, minority businesses, we weren't like just taught these things.
Right,
Like you get what I'm
right.
saying? Like you said, a lot of us are winging it.
Winging
a lot
it.
of us are even like I've applied things that I've learned from corporate into
Right,
my business, but there are still ways that it could definitely be improved
Absolutely.
or worked on. So I love that you offer that, because a lot of people, when they think of these things, they think like, oh my God, I can't afford it,
Right,
or it's
right.
not
That's what
this,
they
or it's
think.
not that. Well, first off, as a business owner, you have to spend money to make money,
Right,
right?
right.
So that should always be key.
Conversely, sometimes you can't afford not to. Because
Exactly,
you're getting in your own way.
exactly. So you have, like we talked about, you have to delegate. You have to be able to put in procedures and put in operations so that they carry you longer. So
Yes.
guys, these type of resources are available, and especially if you want someone who looks like yourself to help you manage through those things, these are our resources.
Right.
This is what I love so much about the podcast, is that we meet dope people like yourself.
Thank you.
That we can access, that we can attain without just knowing someone up in the
Right,
air,
right.
asking them to help what it is that we do. And we
Right.
need people that are relatable in these areas.
Right, and
So it's been
professional.
Absolutely professional in these areas. So it's been such a pleasure having you
It's been
on the
great to
podcast.
be here. Thank you.
We're in season 2, y'all. This is Elle from Outstanding Operations.
It's me on season 2.